actually get up and running. Uh, I was just saying, went to a greenhouse today with my family, nice quiet Saturday, and now I'm here. It is a bright sunny day outside though, so gonna be using my hat to block the light for you guys. Unfortunate, but hey, make do with what you got. Besides, I still love this hat. I don't know if I've ever actually like shown it like in detail before, so forgive the messy hat hair. Uh, I got some pins from my time out in Wyoming, Bighorn Mountains, where I spent quite a bit of time fossil hunting, along with a little Pachycephalosaurus pin. And then over here, I've got a little pin from a zoo I visited with my family and Yellowstone. I got another one recently that I still have to put on the hat. Uh, well, it's around here somewhere. I got to put it on. But we'll be adding to this slowly. With that said, hello, Caden. Hope you're doing well today. And hello, Andrew. It's been quite a while, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are doing well. Today, for our Creation Science Theater, we have two videos that I am planning on covering, but if we get enough super chats sent in, I might keep going for a third. So a little bit of incentive there if y'all like to listen to me rant. Uh, yeah, should be fun. Actually, you know what? It's been a very long time. I think I'm going to make this an open theater. So, for anyone who did not watch this show previously, an open theater means that you guys can join. Uh, I will allow members of the audience to join in on the stream if you wish. Of course, there are some rules. I'm going to ask that you give me a quick wave on camera before I add you to the stream. Just don't want any surprises popping up. And I've seen it happen before on other streams. It's not fun. And also, just be nice, basically. Little swearing is okay as long as it's not over the top. But yeah, I'll go ahead and post the link, and I will pin it at the top of the chat in just a second. Okay, so there is the StreamYard's link. If anyone wants to join, again, feel free. Just be nice and give me a wave on camera before I add you to the actual stream. You don't have to have your camera on in public. It's just a precaution. But at any rate, we have a video to watch today. At least two. Again, maybe three if we hit our super chat goal. So I will go ahead and bring this up. Now, if you've seen any of the previous Creation Science Theaters or are familiar with my channel at all, you probably know about Donny. Donny is a young earth creationist who runs a YouTube channel called Standing for Truth. They also have a website, a couple blogs between the different owners, and they're interesting. Donny is usually nice and professional, though he has had a few moments, a few heated gamer moments, I guess we should say, in the past. But he's usually nice. Some of the other common hosts aren't, including Raw Matt, who is an interesting guy, and another one named Sam, who I've butted heads with a few times. But this is a video that Donny uploaded as an excerpt from a stream with Ryan Cox, who is also a young earth creationist. And in this little stream highlight, they they propose that a crocodilian from the Cretaceous called Deinosuchus is the biblical Leviathan, which is not sure about that, to be honest with you. But we are going to go ahead and start playing it. I will pause when I have something to comment on, which should be decently often. But they also start the conversation off talking about Spinosaurs, I believe. All right, stream's up, everything's up. We can go ahead and get started. Hope y'all enjoy.
About Spinosaurus. It's a two-parter, brother, because you're a Spinosaurus expert. That big sail on its back. So question one, I've seen some debate on what that's for. But question two, in light of that, I've actually seen some people interpret Leviathan because Leviathan has a description that meets a creature that can hang out on the land, but also be a powerful force in the water. And we see Spinosaurus is depicted as, being able to go in the water and then also go on land. Is there a chance that Spinosaurus could be Leviathan? If not, why not? So I know it's a two-part question, and I'm curious, Ryan.
Okay, so asking about the sails of Spinosaurs and what they might have been used for, and if they could possibly be the biblical Leviathan. So the thing about Spinosaurus' sail, it has been proposed to be used for a bunch of different things. Back when we thought dinosaurs were more cold-blooded, it was suggested that it was for thermal regulation. I don't think that idea is super well supported now, especially since all dinosaurs seem to have been at least ancestrally warm-blooded. I think the main consensus now is it's probably just a big display feature, which isn't a satisfying answer, especially since paleontologists tend to throw around it's a design feature, it's a display feature a lot. But that's probably the best explanation we have. Just being on its back, it wouldn't have been good for swimming, and it would have been good for display. Although, for anyone unfamiliar, Spinosaurus has gotten a lot of updates in recent years. Like, everyone knows, I'll just pull up a photo. Everyone knows about this classic kind of drawing for Spinosaurus. It's got a long neck, long legs, long tail. Looks like this, right? Everyone's familiar with this version. But there have been a lot of recent updates since starting in 2014. In 2014, we found a much more complete skeleton of Spinosaurus, particularly of the half before the tail. And I'm trying to find a good picture of it. Because the funny thing is, there are now eras of Spinosaurus. So this is like the 90s version after we found baryonyx. This is what we thought it was like when Jurassic Park 3 came out. Then we got this version because we found a new skeleton with super tiny legs. super tiny legs. Some people even suggested it might have been quadrupedal, although this has not stood the test of time. And then in 2020, we again found more, and we got the tail of Spinosaurus, leading to this. Well, actually, wait, no, that's Mirabilis. Never mind. Because there's continuously been new Spino news. Sorry. I have to pull this up. Also, I do hear that someone has entered the StreamYard's lobby. I will check in just a moment. Yeah, this is the 2020 Spinosaurus. It has this big old newt-like tail. still has the tiny legs, looks really weird and awkward, but in the kind of weird, awkward way that animals that are becoming aquatic tend to look. Like this thing is definitely semi-aquatic to some degree. And we were bouncing back and forth with that image for a few years, and then just earlier this year, we got a new species. And it's contentious, I'll say. A lot of paleontologists have some problems with this thing. But it might be a new species. If nothing else, it was a lot of interesting discoveries. It might have slightly longer legs, and it might have this interesting scimitar-shaped crest. It also has it does definitely have a different face. The skull is slightly different, and there's some other differences too. But some people have some problems with the paper that this was published on. Notably, one of the main authors is on the list, which was a fun discovery. Sorry, went on a little scree about the Spinosaurus there, but let's see little updates. Yep, Andrew mentioned the new species with the large crest and how, yeah, the sail's probably a display feature. Hello, Bree. Hope you are doing well. We're going to be talking about Leviathan here soon, if you have any interest in hopping on. And, oh, I see Caden. I see you in the StreamYards lobby. Would you mind giving me a quick wave and I'll add you? You don't have to have your camera on when you actually hop on. Give him a moment to do that. Oh, and we do have a Bumblebee. Hello, hello.
Hello.
How is it going?
I'm still dressed like a vampire from my show this morning.
Oh, fun. Were you covering vampires? Also, hi, Caden. I see you.
No, I just like to dress up.
Oh,
I covered indigo children and doppelgangers today. Do you know what a doppelganger is?
I do know what a doppelganger is. I've never heard of an indigo child before.
Oh, Indigo's Child was like this new age movement. And it started in the 70s and got its legs in the 90s, really. It was basically a way of saying that millennials, that because they started diagnosing us with ADHD and autism and stuff like that, that we were a new species of human that were called indigo children because we had psychic powers. And our auras glowed with indigo light, and we were super intuitive and helpful, and we were going to save the world. That was the whole pitch. And so people in my parents' generations, boomers and some older Gen X people who had kids that were born in the 80s and 90s, raised their kids to think they were super special because they were indigo children. They didn't have conditions that we can work with. They were special star seeds, so to speak. But it's not half as loony as the younger creationist ideology. So what we got going on with Donny today?
Well, today we are talking about how Deinosuchus is the biblical Leviathan, actually.
Oh, when you said Leviathan, I assumed you were talking about the sperm whale.
No, that's
Leviathan.
Yeah. Well, the nickname for it or the common name for it is the Leviathan, though, right? The Leviathan is the scientific name.
I think Leviathan is the Hebrew translation of Leviathan.
No, but the common name is Leviathan. I think, at least in the U.S., I thought that's what we always called it. I don't know.
I think it was originally named Leviathan, but that genus name was already applied to an already existing species, so they had to change it because you can't have two genera with the same genus.
Yeah, you run into that a lot. Sometimes it's something like a little bit like we can't name this whale this because there's this flower in the Rocky Mountains that has that name already. It's like, how do those both end up with the same name?
It's
that explains why they don't know.
Bugs always steal the cool scientific names because there's so many of them.
because you can find. I could go out into the desert now and find a new species of beetle. Right?
Well, Caden, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Um, I am a bit regarding Mirabilis, even if it isn't a separate species, with with like the crest it has, it could also represent maybe a sexual dimorphism within S. aegypticus if it isn't its own species.
Um, so it's possible, and I am noticing. Andrew didn't know that it was kind of controversial. Bree, I don't remember. Did I go on a big rant about this in like our Discord chat a couple
We
months ago? I think
definitely
I
talked
did.
about it. The evolutionists definitely talked about it. I think it's a new species, but like I don't know Jack, so like
Uh, I think it's definitely credible that they found a new Spinosaurus species. I just have a few issues with some of their evidence for its unique traits. Like, for example, this long leg here, like for a Spinosaurus, exceptionally long leg here, uh, that comes from a juvenile specimen scaled to the size of an adult, without regard for how those bones might change as they age.
is I gotta ask because I'm not up to speed on this. Is the knuckle walking for Spinosaurus still a thing?
It is not.
Goodness.
We currently don't think any theropod could have walked quadrupedally, at least not at present. Their hands just they don't move right for quadrupedal locomotion.
Yeah, the knuckle walking hasn't been a thing since 2014.
Yeah, I'm old.
It's all right. It's all right. But
My
yeah,
thing is bugs. So yeah, I do like dinosaurs though.
that's fair. But yeah, the long tibia here comes from a juvenile specimen that was sized up to an adult, without taking into account that legs typically shrink in relation to the body as these things grow. We know that from a lot of other juvenile dinosaurs, and also
So
the crest that's made so much news. Um, we have not found that bone attached to other bones in the skull. They've all been found floating on their own.
so is the center of gravity over the hip?
It would
It'd
be.
have to be, right?
Yeah, it would be.
It'd absolutely have to be. So that tail needs to be quite a bit bulkier, I'd say, right? I think the whole thing needs to be bulkier, but like
Well, let's see. I can
this
pull
one's
up
kind of
the.
it looks shrink wrap to me. Like it needs some tummy. Like this thing obviously had internal organs underneath it, right?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about this reconstruction. Here, I'm pulling up a picture now. Here's one based off of the 2020 reconstruction.
Okay,
And
good. This tells us
yeah,
kind of where they're all coming from too. I really like this one.
yeah.
What do you think of this one, Caden?
It's that is S. aegypticus, and yeah, that tail is pretty. Yeah, it's a lot. This one's looks a lot bulkier than the S. mirabilis reconstruction we saw earlier.
Yeah. Did you think that one looked kind of shrink wrapped too?
Yeah, kind of looks like you took like one of those. I have kind of looks like you took one of the 2014 reconstructions, lengthened the back legs little, uh, and then added the 2020 tail onto it. So kind of like they stitched together different reconstructions to
That
make.
is exactly why I was asking about the knuckle walking, because this guy looks like he's too front heavy and he's just risen up and he's about to fall back down onto his knuckles.
Yeah,
That's why I brought that up in the first place.
I don't think so. Here's the funny thing: we don't have much arm material from Spinosaurus.
Baryonyx, though.
I think we have Baryonyx we do, but Spinosaurus we have like a couple knuckle bones, I think. So we don't know how big its arms might have been, for sure.
Yeah.
For all we
And
know,
yeah, I
the
mean-
had super short arms.
They could have. Oh, the thing with theropods is whenever they start to get big, their arms shrink every time.
It says for Megaraptorans. Megaraptorans are weird.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah,
but
but
also, I will say my
Carnotaurus
favorite
does the shrinking
Okay.
arm things, and it still manages to be pretty freaking weird. It's just
Well,
basically a sausage on legs.
Well, Tyrannosaurs do, Abelisaurs do.
Carcharodontosaurus dead.
Yep. And also, I will say my favorite Spinosaurus reconstruction is Sobek from the Field Museum. This guy is hanging up in the entrance hall, and it
I've
is
seen that.
beautiful.
Wasn't that the one from? Wasn't that the one featured in the new Walking with Dinosaurs?
I think it was no, that story was tied to a new skeleton that they were digging up in the documentary. I don't remember who the team was, but they might have been excavating Mirabilis actually with that. I can't remember for sure.
Oh. Yeah, theropod and ontogeny in general is kind of weird. At least it isn't Lemusaurus.
We don't talk about Lemusaurus.
I mean, you could really stretch that to say Archosaur in general is are bizarre.
Archosaurs do get freaky. They're weird.
Mm. So can we do, before you pop back over to Donnie, just real quick, I got a question about Mirabilis's horns or horn. So if we're talking about sexual dimorphism, and this is like, I don't know, say it's a hypothetically like a male Spinosaurus aegypticus, would we infer a size sexual dimorphism there too?
So the thing is, we definitely do have at least two Spinosaurus species now. They have significantly different jaws. They have different details than some of the other bones. The crests are the things I'm kind of hung up on. Because like I said, they weren't found like in articulation with the rest of the skulls when other skull material was present. They were associated. And also there is variability within the crests they do have. I want to say we have, it's either 3, 4, or 5 crests. And some of them are relatively straight, while others are like flopped over on their sides. It's weird.
Well,
Is it because they were kept in captivity like killer whales? And
who'd be keeping them in captivity?
the aliens, when they were doing the Alien Sea World on Earth in the Mesozoic?
I did
Speaking
forget
of Leviathans, the Leviathan was the name of a spacecraft in one of the episodes of Godzilla the series, and it had crashed during the age of dinosaurs and had mutated a bunch of prehistoric creatures and turned them into kaiju.
What I'm hearing is that Caden is affirming my conspiracy about these floppy horns being from captivity.
Clearly, it was the
Message I'm
Sailor
getting.
Senshi.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Well,
you're
speaking
so
of
much fun,
sailors-
Caden. Thank you so much for coming in here.
You're
Good to chat
welcome.
with you.
Speaking of sailors, perhaps we should take a swim with Leviathan.
Let's do it.
I've got my scuba gear on.
What your thoughts are, brother?
So Spinosaurus has gone through a lot of revision
Yes.
over the years. Its skull went through a bunch of revision as they kept figuring out the original spinous processes that create that that make that sail is what was originally found of him, I believe, in northern Africa, and they were lost in bombings during World War II, if I recall. But then other specimens have found it. Like you said, there's great.
So that is true. For many years, Spinosaurus was a huge mystery because it was bombed.
We couldn't get any new measurements on it.
Yeah, this is an illustration of, or this is like the original notes of the discoverer showing what bones they had.
So
And it's funny because this was my Spinosaurus. I was born in the 80s, so like this was how the dinosaur toys made Spinosaurus look when I was a kid. Had that generic theropod face, just with a sail.
Yes, I found a life reconstruction. This Spino.
Looks
Running
like a
like a-
Dimetrodon, but you stretch the back legs.
The legs make it look like it's running like a frilled lizard or a basilisk lizard with its legs out to the side like they do.
Kinda. Oh, no way. Sorry, I just found a retro reconstruction I gotta show. Okay, it's tiny. It's in bad quality. But I remember this. I had this book that this is from.
The Dinosaur Dictionary?
I don't know what book it was. Let me see what this website says. But I had
The
this
illustration
picture.
looks really familiar.
I feel like I've seen that illustration before.
Yeah, I've definitely seen it before. I loved that book. It had a lot of like fun short stories about different dinosaurs and like woolly mammoths and stuff.
Are we going to talk about Spinoferus? Because it seems like that's the direction we're going. We're just devolving. In
Oh
that.
no,
Yeah.
not Spinosaurus. Speaking of
the true
Spinosaurus,
ultimate
as someone
form.
born in the early 2000s, I've seen Spinosaurus go from the Jurassic Park design to the tadpole design in my lifetime.
Same here.
It is super bizarre to see. Because, I mean, this was like an elephant seal style.
Oh yeah, this is a total meme.
Spinosaurus in 2030.
Yep. Just watch, something will look like this, and then who will be laughing then?
Wouldn't it be crazy if we found a whole like order of dinosaurs that were like seals, like at that level of evolution where they're like amphibious marine
I mean,
dinosaurs?
I don't think we have anything dinosaurs, but I'd say maybe like Nophosaurs from the Triassic would have been
Teeny
similar.
Strophis, yeah.
I know it's not what you're meaning, Bree, but we do have those.
Oh, what are you talking about? Penguins?
Yeah,
Oh yes, penguins. I forgot about. Yep.
they are dinosaurs that live like seals.
There are amphibious marine dinosaurs. They really are. Yes, absolutely. Penguins are the dinosaur version of seals. You are absolutely right. I
And just like seals, penguins used to get big.
That's true.
Mhm.
Oh, what's the one that was compared to Shaq? There was a. Yeah, I gotta show this. This is from an actual publication. Maybe not this exact picture, but there was. Oh, come on! Why can't I open that image? Thank you, Twitter.
Is it the Paleogitine? Oh no. Okay.
Kumimanu.
A picture of a giant penguin using Shaquille O'Neal for scale.
Kumimanu.
350 pounds. You know, when it comes to these giant extinct penguins, and I did do some coverage on these back when I used to do Paleo Peak, but not all of them were Arctic animals. Penguins used to be like before pinnipeds kind of took over the scene.
Mhm.
Penguins were I guess that would that have been beginning of the Pleistocene maybe when seals really took off.
Okay.
But through the anyway, so like I think that's why the reconstruction is less bulky, because it's not necessarily supposed to be a Arctic species.
I think Kumimanu's
I'm
from New
curious.
Zealand.
Yeah.
It's from New Zealand.
From
I am curious why penguins seem to be like exclusively in the southern hemisphere.
My guess
Never
would
spent
be
north.
probably the same. Probably for the. My theory is a mix of like competition with other animals that were already filling the niches that they had in the northern hemisphere. Plus, they would prefer colder waters in general. I mean, where you find penguins today, you find them in areas where you have cold water and stuff, cold water currents and stuff. Like the furthest north penguins are the Galapagos Islands, and they have that big cold water current running right through them.
yeah, they actually cross the equator. The Galapagos penguins do.
Well, they do. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, like,
occasionally, and not like normally, like vagrant winds do occasionally, but it's not like a normal thing.
part of me wonders if you just like dropped a few off the coast of California or Oregon, if they could actually take off.
I don't think so because I think there's a lot of there. We have there's lots of seals in California and other things that would probably compete with the penguins for food. Plus, penguins were I don't think penguins tend to have to deal with like great white sharks and stuff, and there are great white sharks off of California.
No,
well, I mean, there's
there are
sharks off the
penguins in South
Galapagos
Africa.
too. South
Yeah,
Africa. Are you talking about which penguins are you talking about? Are you talking about Galapagos penguins? I think California, unless you put them like SoCal, they'd probably be too cold for them.
No, I'm
Northern
just saying I
California.
know there are penguins in South Africa, and there's tons of great whites down there.
True. I don't fully know. I mean, there are quite a few. I've seen penguins in zoos here in the States, but like I've never seen any in the wild, and I don't know if penguins could actually thrive in the United States in the wild.
Maybe we should get a
Yeah.
penguin biologist on sometime. I'd actually like to know.
A fun thing about that niche, though, is actually the California coast is a unique place where that niche of the warm-blooded piscivore is filled by tiny dolphins that only get like this big. There's not very many of them. Some species
The
have only been seen like a
vaquita
couple of
porpoise.
times. Yeah, the tiny different species in the dolphin in the dolphin family. I don't know if they're porpoises though. Might be.
I think the vaquita is a type of porpoise.
Yeah, which is
There aren't very many left.
yeah.
It's
They've only been seen a handful of times, but they fill that same niche like the Galapagos penguins fill. Sorry, I keep talking over you, Doc. You freeze up and it doesn't look like you're talking, and then you start talking again.
I mean, I do tend to just sit kind of still too. That might be it. I also just like letting you two banter back and forth. I don't mind. But we probably should continue, though. We are
every species they bring up,
in.
we have to do a dissertation about. Every time they bring up a new species, we have to do a whole exploration of its phylogenical history and
we haven't even
archaeology
gotten
and
to
everything.
Deinosuchus yet.
So, from what I've heard about Deinosuchus is that it's kind of unknown where within Crocodilia it used to be considered an alligatoroid, but now it's just considered like a basal Eusuchian.
I think it's still considered an alligatoroid.
Last time I looked it up, it
unless-
seems it's a bit controversial if it's an alligatoroid or not.
Oh, hey, yeah, what do you know? At least from Wikipedia, 2025 study. Okay.
They're challenging its alligatoroid identity.
Yeah, seems like it might fall outside of Crocodilia as a whole.
See, like you're talking right now and you're frozen. And you're frozen in shock too. Or now you're not.
Whoops.
It's funny.
Yeah,
like
yeah, it might not be an
sometimes I
alligatoroid.
wonder if you're really just sitting there and talking to me with your psychic powers.
I have autism, and last time I checked, I am still a Homo sapien.
Well, let's see what they have to say about Deinosuchus. And Bree, I believe you're more well versed in the Bible than I am, so maybe you could weigh in on Leviathan a bit when they get into that.
That's my favorite section of the Bible right there. Give me some Job.
All right.
Debate on what that sail is for. I don't know. I haven't seen good modeling on how well it would help him swim if he's out in the water. I'm sure those studies are out there.
The back sail would not help at all. It has been modeled. It would not be used for swimming. Like the animal as a whole could definitely swim. It
Could it?
so,
It could
so
be used for thermal regulation while swimming, right?
probably not. It lived in a fairly warm area.
Plus, I think we have juvenile and baby remains of Spinosaurus, and the sails are. If it was used for thermal regulation, you would expect the sails to scale proportionally as they age, and I don't think we find that with.
Actually,
we
if
do
it's not,
not.
if it's not for any kind of thermal regulation, it almost seems like it would hinder a large animal to have that much more surface area exposed up in the sun in a hot tropical environment.
Well, so I will say we do have juvenile spino remains, but they're like a couple bones of the feet, so about as far away from the sail as you can get. In regards to its use as like how much it would get in the way, if like a cross current came by, it would probably knock it over, at least temporarily. But the thing about Spinosaurus is too, it is a pretty massive animal, and it would have been getting most of its propulsion from the tail and a little bit from its hind legs. At least as an adult, having big sails like that, I mean, if it gets you laid, it's worth it, even if it sucks to carry around.
I
I
mean,
mean,
It-
Jinx.
It's like a basilisk lizard. It's there to make the ladies go crazy.
or
If
like
that happens, it did
tail
its job.
feather,
What was that?
or like a peacock's tail feathers.
Exactly.
And I guess speculating that it would hinder locomotion is asinine as speculating that a dorsal fin would hinder locomotion.
I wouldn't call it asinine, especially considering like Spinosaurus's sail is huge, both in absolute terms and for body size. It's a big organ. I don't know. Like there is still ongoing debate in paleontology about how exactly Spinosaurus swam, at what depths it swam. Like we are pretty solid on knowing that it could swim. The main debate is if it dove underwater for prey or if it stayed near the surface. If it stayed near the surface, the sail wouldn't factor in at all. If it dove underwater, then it might cause some issues. But at the same time, Spinosaurus has a lot of adaptations that would have made it good at diving. It has extremely dense bones for a dinosaur. It has those tiny little legs. Its belly, like its body, it has a round cross section, while most dinosaurs have like a thin oval. So its body would have been stable in the water. There's just the crest coming off the top. It's a confusing animal, but then who knows? Maybe it's meant to be confusing. Maybe there is a creator.
I just haven't personally come across them. And his tail has definitely gone through a lot of revision, going from the standard theropod looking tail to a much more flattened sailed one that would have helped him have a little more aquatic ability out there in the water. Now, I still am convinced, and I think it seems like in the depictions I see, majority are convinced that he did walk upright on his legs, though still. He did not have sprawled legs because he's got that big, fully open, fully perforated acetabulum. And
Um, the the acetabulum doesn't factor in at all.
Even if it did, dinosaurs in general, the way their bodies are built, are designed to have their legs held directly beneath their bodies rather than sprawled out. Not to mention, the larger you get, having a sprawled posture like that would not help you in holding yourself up.
Yeah,
An
it's
important factor when it comes to younger creationism, and you gotta keep this in mind when they're talking about dinosaurs, is they don't want dinosaurs to be like, oh, birds. They want to correlate them to lizards as much as possible. So if there was a sprawling gait on any dinosaur at any point, they'd be all over that, saying, hey, here's our proof that dinosaurs are not, or that birds are not dinosaurs, that dinosaurs are just giant lizards.
well, I mean, unless they can. It's weird. Sometimes they split extinct creatures into dinosaurs and sometimes into birds
It's like
Just
they
at
think
will.
Tyrannus a bird because it has feathers, but because Tyrannus is a Tyrannosauroid, that would also make Tyrannosaurus a bird.
Well, I have had a couple creationists say that if it has feathers, it's a bird before. I will say that.
And
Ooh, that's fun.
as someone who believes in a creator, but also accepts evolution, I can say that not most younger creationists are either misinformed or just deliberately lying, and I don't like that. Sure, I've lied before in the past, but I also accept that that is something I am working on, and that I know that it is wrong.
I mean, this is completely anecdotal, but I would say that most young Earth creationists are misinformed. Most young Earth creationist preachers seem to be lying. But also, really quick, we have a super chat from Scott Duke. Here's $10. Want it? I love a good BS debunk stream. Thank you very much, Scott. I really appreciate that. And that was for $10, so that will go for 2 points on our super chat goals for this stream. I mentioned it at the start, folks, but if we get at least 5 super chats in, well, now at least 4 super chats in that are at least $5, we will go for 3 videos this stream instead of 2.
Oh
we're
my.
making good progress on that so far.
How far into this video are we now?
2 minutes.
2 minutes into it. Well, it's not. It's only a 10-minute video though, so we gotta have
the next one is
conversations
20
and make
minutes.
content out of it.
Well, video 2 is 20 minutes. We should probably continue.
And so they still will portray him walking upright on his
Scott.
legs. So that's why he's still dinosaurian, but maybe with a little bit of aquatic ability, though I am not convinced of being deep ocean like they showed in the movie, but maybe more shallow water. Regarding Leviathan, I was... The problem there always was we can find something that'll match some of the details, but not all the details. And I think it was around 2020
I got a question.
that there was a creature.
The dinosaur guys.
So he just said that about Spinosaurus was not in the. This is my last thing I gotta say about Spinosaurus. This is like Spinosaurus. I don't believe he was out in the deep oceans. What this guy says. Does he not? Does he understand that it's my understanding that there was more like a shallow warm sea than like a stormy Pacific that Spinosaurus was swimming in. Is that?
It would have been a pretty shallow, pretty warm sea. It would have been right on the equator, on basically submerged continental shelf.
Think of it kind of like
actually Western Interior Seaway. Would that be a good comparison, except for with the Tethys?
I would just compare it to the modern Mediterranean. It's the same area, just the coast is just farther out now.
Okay.
I would kind of compare it to something like the Everglades.
More inland, yeah, it would have been like the Everglades. But
So,
it,
but
it
wasn't
depends.
it open for a through current? Wasn't there a west to east current flowing through the Mediterranean back then because it was open on the Indian side too?
I don't know about that. What I can say is we do have Spinosaurus from a few different formations, and there are differences between those formations. I believe the one from Egypt, so Spinosaurus aegyptigus, it would have lived in a fairly swampy environment, probably similar to the Everglades. Over in Morocco, those Spinosaurs seem to have lived in a more estuarine environment. So, like big rivers flowing through to the ocean. And then these new ones, Mirabilis, which I think is from Niger.
It's from Niger. It's either
Okay.
Niger or Nigeria.
Okay. These ones actually would have been fairly far inland, living in big rivers and possibly lakes.
So you think they were more focused on rivers and deltas than they were on like open oceans, open
That's
sea?
what the evidence indicates.
But
All of the bones have been found inland, and also we have preserved river deltas. So like where the rivers were actually coming into the ocean, and they're just stuffed with Spinosaurus teeth, meaning that the
you can see
Spinosaurus were
some of the river
losing teeth
deltas.
upriver, and they were being carried down to the ocean.
You can see some of the river deltas from Google Earth too, up in Africa, in the Sahara, excuse me, in the mountains. The Atlas Mountains are fairly young, aren't they? No, the Atlas Mountains were part of the same thing as the Appalachian Mountains, so they were already grinding down by the time the Spinosaurus was around.
At least from a
But
quick Google search, it looks like they might be fairly young.
okay.
I know there is a
I know
range in Morocco that is analogous to what you're talking about, though.
the Appalachia Mountains. Now, what I was getting at with the Spinosaurus thing, and I'll shut up about Spinosaurus because we're getting to Deinosuchus here, which is what we all came for.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right.
With Spinosaurus, I lost my train of thought now. Being more of a river and delta and brackish kind of environment doesn't mean it couldn't go out to sea. We see alligators swim out in the Gulf all the time, right? You see,
although extended to be out there for extended periods, you do need a lot of adaptations.
which
Saltwater
crocodiles have, but
are
alligators don't.
Exactly. And like saltwater crocodiles are surprisingly well adapted for it. Deinosuchus might have been too, which is interesting. But it would have evolved that separately. So sorry.
Deinosuchus could have been marine or semi-marine, like a saltwater crocodile, like C. porus.
Deinosuchus seems to have been.
Neat. Thank you. That's new information to me. So,
well, the thing is, we find it on both sides of the Western Interior Seaway, and I could be wrong, but I think there is evidence for it within the seaway itself.
Have they ever found like mosasaurs or anything in its stomach? I imagine we probably find mostly teeth, huh?
I don't think we found mosasaurs, but I think we found sea turtles.
Sea turtles, like Archelian.
Maybe not Archelon, but probably some sea turtles of some sort. I think we may have found dinosaur remains, which is what Deinosuchus is most commonly depicted hunting.
Yeah, there's always those pictures of it grabbing a theropod off a beach or something. Yeah.
So granted, this is from Wikipedia, but apparently there is some evidence that it may have preyed on marine turtles. There's an abstract from the Journal of Vertebrate Paleontology that talks about indentations on turtle shells from a Deinosuchus, or at least probably some large crocodiliform. Yep, which I mean is interesting. Because yeah, I mean crocodilians today love their turtles.
Yeah, some of them
Some of them have a
like a I hear an echo, like a jaguar.
Oh,
I'm echoing.
Caden, you're echoing.
Like a jaguar, are especially adapted for crushing turtle shells and reptile armor. Crocodiles and alligators, their jaws are especially efficient at crushing turtles and armadillos and anything else that thinks the shell's going to protect it. Do we know how strong Deinosuchus's jaws were supposed to be? I imagine they're like up in the top tier of the animal kingdom.
From Wikipedia.
Google shit. Sorry.
Wikipedia. Just all credit to Wikipedia on this discussion. The bite force of Deinosuchus has been estimated to be 18,000 newtons.
Ooh.
Which is
Sexy.
a lot.
That's like Godzilla. Yeah, since we were talking about Godzilla earlier.
I mean, I will say that's about half of what T-Rex's bite force is estimated to be, but that's still pretty impressive.
Speaking of Deinosuchus, I've seen a skeleton mounted in. There's a museum up in Salt Lake City, and in there is a. There's a skeletal mount of Deinosuchus.
Okay.
There's also a huge wall with a bunch of ceratopsian skulls.
I've been wanting to visit that place for a while. They do seem to have a lot of cool displays up there. But there's a lot of museums that I want to visit someday, though.
There was also a giant oviraptorid.
Yes. And apparently there's evidence that there might have been quite a few of them in Western North America, too.
You know,
Like
one
Gigantoraptor
fossil I want to
size.
see before the end is I want to go see Black Beauty. That fossil is so gorgeous.
Up at the Royal Tyrrell. Or Royal Tyrrell. And,
There's not much
for the
else to
record,
do up
Scott,
there
it
after you do
was
that, though.
in English newtons, the unit of measurement, but I appreciate the joke.
I'm sorry, but who's Fig Newton?
Have you ever had fig newtons?
No.
Oh, they're this really tasty, like not
Fruit
like
cake.
cookie. It's like a stuffed snack.
Their slogan used to be a cookie is just a cookie, but a Newton is fruit and cake.
Yeah, they're like stuffed with mashed up figs and sugar. They're not
Usually
good for you at
They
all.
put
but they're
different stuff
really
in there too. They
addictive.
put strawberry and blueberry and stuff inside of them with the fig.
Oh, I love the blueberry ones.
My favorite's the blueberry ones, I think.
But
Was Scott asking whether or not it was how much pressure in the units of measurements or how many fig newtons the Deinosuchus could fit in its mouth? Because I want the answer to both of those questions.
I probably several thousand.
Check the Wikipedia and see if it says how many fig newtons a Deinosuchus could fit in its mouth.
Oh, goodness.
Because of what was published in the Journal of Vertebrate Paleontology that clicked some light bulbs for a bunch of guys, and Dr. Sarfati and Joel Tay actually have this in their book, Titans, regarding Leviathan, which I was excited to see because I was like, oh, that's what I was thinking. It has to be, as you said, both land and sea. They can spend time because they can see it. They can go up to it. Although God says there in chapter 41, if you go up to it and you poke, you will not forget it.
Right.
You don't want to mess with this thing. So it can
I'm
come on
sorry,
land.
but last time
You
I
don't want
checked,
to mess.
Leviathan is not Cthulhu.
So I did look it up, and depending on the size of the Deinosuchus, and specifically up to 20,000 fig newtons could pack into his mouth densely.
Oh,
That's a lot of fig newtons.
quite a few. Which I will say,
Doing
Deinosuchus
my
looks
part
like a
to
giant
help.
crocodilian, but it has a lot of weird adaptations. Like it's weird. Sorry, go ahead, Bree.
No, I was just making a joke saying do my part to help, but it's kind of it's kind of like the platypus of crocodilians that way, isn't it?
Meanwhile, Deinosuchus is the cutest crocodilian to ever live.
Yes, I'm not going to show it because we'll go into a 10-minute tangent
Is
about
it Simo or Simo? I also thought it was Simosuchus.
it's spelled Simosuchus, but I don't know how it's actually supposed to be pronounced.
Yeah, I have fun with pronunciation because I know I pronounce stuff horrible, but I have fun trying. Like I'll see something that's like a mile long, and I gotta exercise my tongue.
I mean,
But Simosuchus is adorable. There's what was the Armadillosuchus? That one's pretty cute too. A little piggy dude.
I think that is Simosuchus.
No, Armadillosuchus is a separate crocodilian.
Oh no, I gotta look this up now.
But the Mikosuchus are super cute too.
Oh my god, what is that? What are you?
Right?
What is this thing and how have I never heard of it before?
Isn't it so cute? Look at this. They think it burrowed too. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my goodness. Oh, come on. Load the. Okay, thanks, Reddit. Oh my god, it's so cute.
I think that if we could have made these things like dogs.
I want one.
Right? They're dog
What the
size.
hell? I've
You've
never
never
heard
seen
of
this before? I can't believe I knew what prehistoric Archosaur before you. I feel like
I have never heard of this before. That is so cute.
and it
Oh
was a
my
running
goodness.
croc too, so it had longish legs compared to its body.
Oh
held
my
held
goodness.
directly underneath. Is that the right term, running croc? I'm sure I'm using that right.
There's been a lot of crocodile morphs. That is adorable. Oh, I love that thing. Thank you for
I
telling
want
me about
to
it.
see Creationists try to explain that thing.
God was bored.
If you look up running crocs, you're gonna find shoes. So I'm not gonna mess with it right now.
Surprised. Also, I am going to
The
turn down the
Persisaurus
video
had a
little bit
weird
because
face, or I guess it's
Kinda loud.
Persisaurus, didn't it? It's the one that had the big fat underjaw, right? Underbite.
Perusaurus.
Perusaurus,
Yeah, it has really, really robust jaws.
I remember one of the other streams you did, Doc. You were talking about Madagascar and fauna, and
Mhm.
there was a Majungasuchus, and it had like a larger lower jaw than its upper jaw.
Mahajongasuchus?
Yes, Mahajungasuchus.
Yes, I'll pull that up. I remember this thing. Oh, hey, this skull's at the Field Museum. I've seen it.
Weird. Is it crocodilian?
Crocodile,
Good.
croco something.
Crocodilian more. What's the proper term? I say
Yeah.
crocodilian. I don't mean in the. I guess I didn't mean in the scientific term, but what's the proper term? Is it
Common usage.
Crocodilomorph?
Crocodile form.
I don't know what it technically counts as.
Crocodiliform. I can go with
But
crocodiliform.
crocodiliform. It is crocodiliform.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently we have
I
a
like that
decent
they
amount of
organize them
share
like
between
that, but I
different
also hate
specimens.
that. How it's like nay and day, and it's just the same word as you
Oh,
move
apparently-
down from.
Oh, this thing was leggy. Interesting.
It kind of looks like our Armadillosuchus in a bit too. If they could be
Except a
related.
little friendly.
Yeah.
Oh, and apparently Scott loves visiting the Field Museum. I do too. Definitely one of
I
my
go to-
favorite museums I've ever been to.
I go to visit Sue, and then I go to visit the Ghosts in the Darkness while I'm there.
Heck yeah.
I need to visit the Field Museum.
I'd highly recommend it. Just don't forget the basement. There's a lot of interesting little exhibits hidden in the basement.
Give yourself time. You will not get through the whole museum, but give yourself time.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Get there. Like when we tried to go one day, and we were going to try to do the museum and the what's the star the planetarium.
Planetarium, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
The planet. I know what you're talking about. Oh, and the aquarium is right there too. You need like at least a day for each.
Yeah, Shad Aquarium's right across the street, and they got beluga whales in there.
Ooh. They also have beluga whales at the Georgia Aquarium. They also have whale sharks in there. I think they're like the only aquarium in the U.S. that has whale sharks.
Didn't know that. But my family's been to the Shed Aquarium once or twice, and I think my sister still has a stuffed beluga she got there when she was like 7. Somewhere.
I wonder if their beluga whales are happy though, because beluga whales live in the Arctic Ocean, and they're like in this. I don't know. I feel like it'd be like if I was forced to like live in my bathroom for the rest of my life.
I mean, we could have a whole day
We're gonna have a
long
Blackfish conversation right now.
The ethics of mammalian captivity.
We could literally have a conversation just about the Narluga.
Ooh,
Oh God, no!
I could talk
Its
about Narluga.
description of the rows of shields for its back, for its scales. In that journal of vertebrate paleontology, they talked about the osteoderms of Deinosuchus, which is considered to be the largest of all crocodilians ever, at around 40 feet.
One of the largest.
I've heard that Pertosaurus might be larger.
I believe it is, or at least it has a higher bite force.
Also, speaking of rows of shields for scales, are we sure the Bible isn't just describing Godzilla?
I know you love Godzilla, but unfortunately, it might not.
Who is your favorite kaiju, Caden? Is it the G-Man?
I would say yes.
Guess who mine is?
Mothra.
Yes.
I have never been a kaiju fan. They never grabbed my attention.
They went kind of hand in hand with my dinosaur fascination as a kid growing up. So big monster creatures. I mean, dinosaurs were monsters to me until I was about 9 or 10, until Jurassic Park came out, basically. But
Gryposuchus.
Yeah, Gryposuchus. I think it is a giant. What are those things that live in India? Gharial.
Yeah.
You know, for the longest
Modern
time, I
philology. Now you're talking my language.
For the longest time, I thought Sarcosuchus was kind of like a giant gharial.
It probably would have lived like one, but it's not closely related.
Yeah, it's not even. It's kind of outside of, like, Crocodilia, the order.
Also, I did
It
check.
does have that
Crocodile farm.
It is a gavialid, so it is a gharial relative.
Yeah, it has the bola on the end of its nose. It's actually closer related to a gharial, I believe, closer related to a gharial than a tomista is, the false gharial.
I've heard that the North America species of crocodilian from Hell Creek Formation called Thoracosaurus is closely related to the Tomistoma.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, possibly. Like, the thing about crocodilians is they have enough of a fossil record for people to get pedantic in debates about them.
Plus, like,
compared to dinosaurs. So I'm a little jealous of crocodilian researchers.
Plus, crocodilians, like multiple different groups of crocodilians have convergently evolved into semi-aquatic ambush predators,
Hmm.
not just the modern groups.
If like looking at the bones of a crocodilian, though, at least the semi-aquatic ones, they're so different from other bones you'll find in Mesozoic rock layers. You can tell them apart just by the texture. It's really cool.
Actually, I don't know how well you all are versed in evolution of crocodiles, but do either one of you all know if so the crocodiles appeared, really in the Triassic, right? That's when they kind of
Oh, Pseudotsuchia.
or yeah, Crocodilomorphia. So the in Triassic extinction event, that were the only crocodilians that survived that aquatic ambush predators, and then everything that evolved, even all the land crocs and tree crocs and everything evolved from those ambush predators.
I believe. Okay, so at the end of the Triassic, I believe there were still terrestrial crocodiliforms that did make it through. But I believe their numbers were significantly reduced, and it was the semi-aquatic specialists that survived the best.
So, from what I've heard, is that for the majority of the Triassic, the semi-aquatic ambush predator niche was filled by a mix of temnospondyl amphibians and the phytosaurs, which may or may not be pseudotsuchians.
I think phytosaurs are currently like basal archosaurs. They're not even on the Pseudotsuchian branch, but I could be wrong.
I mean, the phytosaurs definitely resemble the semi-aquatic crocodilians, but like where their nostrils are like further on top of the head than modern crocodilians are. Because yeah, crocodilian nostrils are on top of their snouts, but they're also closer to the end of their snout than with phytosaurs.
Okay, and I just checked. They are Crurotarsians. Which, I mean,
now, because I know that like
relatives are all screwy.
Like the PKG extinction, that was that only the aquatic ambush croc survived that, and anything that became terrestrial after that had an ancestor that was aquatic, right? Like the Nicosuchians, even though they were
the Sebekids from South America, which I believe are Notosuchians, made it through the end Cretaceous.
And they didn't descend from aquatic, right? Because they still had a laterally compressed skull. So they were never.
Let me double check.
Never had. It sounds like they didn't have aquatic ancestors to me.
So the oldest known member is apparently. Oh well, wait. Apparently, the earliest records we have of Sebekids reliably are from the Eocene. So, like 60-ish million years ago. But though there are also the Borossuchids, which let's.
What does
sorry, just going through phylogenies here. There's a lot of them. It's complicated. Because Sebekids are very closely related to Borossuchids. And they're both Metasuchians. Okay, so Metasuchia, Neosuchia. I believe there were terrestrial crocodiliforms that survived the KPG, but again, they were much less numerous.
Like the last group of terrestrial crocodilians, the Mekosuchians, made it into the Holocene, but not very far. into the
Yes,
Holocene.
I think the last surviving ones were in Australia.
I think Australia and New Caledonia.
What was the big Australian one? Oh wow, and yeah, Mechosuchus itself was alive until 30,000 years ago.
I think Quicana was the giant Australian one.
You're
Yes,
talking about
King Kong.
Mikosuchids now. Mikosuchids lived into the Holocene.
Yeah, 30,000 years ago.
Well, in New Caledonia, let me see.
I think a few Mechosuchians survived long enough to see early humans. Maybe
Yeah, I think they
even
were
as
wiped
far
out
as
by,
some of the Polynesian expansions.
yeah, just 3,000 years ago is when they were wiped out, not 30,000.
Oh,
It was,
I can't read.
yeah, it
My
was
bad.
during, they were killed by like the same wave that killed, well, not the exact same way, but like what the same type of human migration that wiped out the dodo and the
Well, no, Pluto died out
moa.
during the 1800s.
Yeah, that wiped out the moa and the elephant bird. And
You know, as terrifying as it would be, I would love to see a Kinkana alive. Like, I would love that so much. They're so cool.
Quicana, basically the most Australian thing ever.
Well, it'd be the most Australian
Right.
thing ever if it was venomous. So that's just Megalania.
yeah, but
Oh,
look
yeah,
at look up Mikosuchus inexpectus.
Yes. Mechosuchus.
Inexpectatus, actually, is how it's.
Sorry, I was just looking. Oh. Sorry, I was just looking at Megalania. I always forget it has a dumb little crest. Like, Megalania has a crest. Here we go.
Isn't that the cutest little guy? Now this guy,
They're adorable.
these ones are the ones that lived on New Caledonia. They're like little dwarf crocodiles, about the size of the biggest one, like a monitor lizard sized, right? That lived in New Caledonia and some other. I believe they found fragments on other islands too, but it was largely terrestrial.
I think they were tree climbing, like partially arboreal.
I think that's been like challenged, but yeah, there's lots of pictures of them sitting in trees and stuff from paleo art.
Crocodilians in general can already climb trees, anyways.
Yeah, caimans do it.
Yeah, it's definitely not to say that they couldn't get up in the branches, but I think that like the idea that they were like arboreal hunters is mostly discredited.
Not so much for Thylacoleo, though.
Right.
But that's a whole different discussion.
But they look like a dwarf caiman. They look like a dwarf caiman, like the pug version of a dwarf caiman to me. That's what Mikosuchus inexpectatus looks like.
Well, we are now 3.5 minutes.
An hour and 14 minute into the stream too.
Let's see if we make it to video too.
Oh no, I'm sorry for all the tangents I've caused.
Caden, you're fine. It has been a while since we've done one of these things, but tangents were the name of the game.
He invited us in here to talk about this stuff, Caden. It's fine. If he didn't want us to be here giving our opinions and thoughts, he'd kick us.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'd kick you guys.
Speaking of Deinosuchus, I have actually heard that there's been some recent studies challenging whether or not it could actually reach up to 10 meters or not.
Really? I thought those were pretty solid.
Well, apparently there's been some new studies suggesting that Deinosuchus was actually a lot smaller, maybe only maxing at 7 meters.
But we have fairly complete skulls, though. Like,
I thought 10 meters was the low end estimate for Deinosuchus.
Yeah, that was my understanding too.
Is that now? What's the new low end, Caden?
I think maybe like 5 meters.
5 meters.
That
So like That's like smaller than a salty, though, right?
I think 5 is about average for a salty.
Okay,
Five,
I'll take
five
that one.
meters is like the upper end for an American alligator.
No, well, I get 50. Yeah, probably pretty close. I think the biggest ones are around like 15 feet. So yeah, that's 5
Mm.
meters. Is
I
probably
think
pretty close.
7 meters is about max for a salty.
I mean, so here are some Deinosuchus skulls. Like we have some really complete ones.
Oh.
The uppermost ones are more fragmentary, but we do have fairly complete smaller skulls. So extrapolating their size shouldn't
Mm.
be
The
that
top
difficult.
one, third column, that's a lot of material there to go off of too, to say how much bigger that is than a salty. That's, I mean, just what's there. What's this? The mandibular bone that we have. If you look at the third, yeah, that one right there. How much
Listen.
of the skull is available to go off of that with that one, and then yeah.
All of this
So
over here.
there's going to be a lot to be able to estimate, at least within a reasonable margin, how big this guy is going to get. So are we saying that this skull, that thing, if this skull was on an animal the same size as a large saltwater crocodile, it'd be built like a freaking pit bull. Its head would be like 30% of its body.
Yeah, right. If you can figure out where that came from, Caden, I'd like to take a look at that. But I've never heard of anything like that before.
At least we can outright prove that Deinosuchus did not get to 16 meters.
I mean,
A
probably
16-meter crocodile would be terrifying.
Yeah, but I don't know if anyone's proposing that size.
I was like, I have a DVD. Well, technically, it was a blank DVD that I downloaded some YouTube videos off of. But the YouTube videos were of a old TV show that used to run on the Disney Channel called Henry's Amazing Animals. And there was an episode titled Prehistoric Animals. And the episode talked about crocodilians reaching up to 60 feet long.
Interesting. Oh wait, I might have found the paper you're talking about. Let's see. It might be. Oh, come on. So it looks like they... Okay. It looks like they're saying there are some smaller specimens of Deinosuchus that likely grew to about 5 meters in length. But there were also much bigger. Yeah, it looks like there were some giants, but there were also some smaller species, which kind of makes sense. There would be variation.
So the Machio, or was it Machimosaurus, one that gets about 7 meters or so, is now sounding more comparable to Deinosuchus, and like it's more of a contender than it. I guess it's not even on this list, is it?
Okay. So I'll share here. I don't know how robust this paper is, but they're estimating about 7.6 meters long for the largest species, Deinosuchus riograndensis, and 4.8 meters for the smallest species. However, they are apparently assuming that the head is larger relative to the body compared to previous estimates. So I don't know how well this would hold up. I do not study crocodilians, or I don't study crocs. I'm just gonna say crocs. There, just include all the forms and Ians and everything. I would
You
have
use
to
a thicker Australian accent, though.
I'd have to hear Croc expert's opinion on all this. I don't know it. I don't know what that was. Mark would be disappointed in me.
Apparently, only the people in the outback say good day.
Well, the thing is, right, I don't know if that... No, I can't. I tried to do Mark's voice. I can't do Mark's voice.
I
Few
am
estimates,
fully
maybe 45.
prepared.
Hmm?
I am fully prepared for there to be a Philatoseuchus that blows all these out of the water in size.
The Latasukian.
Yeah, like a 12-meter long one, because it's marine, so they can get bigger. I fully
Yeah, but
expect a marine croc to be the one that turns out to be the biggest that's ever existed. We just haven't found it yet.
But the thing is, those things had to compete with mosasaurs.
No, the Latasukians were from the Jurassic and
Sorry,
were competed
no.
with pliosaurs.
Thank you.
Well, they came through the Jurassic. They were around until the Cretaceous.
I think the Latasukians died out at the end of the Jurassic.
I think they died out in the mid-Cretaceous.
They were around until the Cretaceous. I think the bigger ones were in the Cretaceous, weren't they?
Yeah, to the mid-Cretaceous.
So, well, the Metriorhynchids, a subgroup of the Latasukians, were extinct by the Jurassic.
Hmm.
And those are like the most fully aquatic of all the Latasukians, having flippers and everything.
Right. Oh wait.
Yeah, these were the ones that survived with the teleosauroids or whatever. They're longer and skinnier, but weren't as heavily marine adapted.
Well, I am going to continue the video. Let's see if we can make it 30 seconds before pausing again. We'll see.
These osteoderms were so big, they described it as rows of shields to protect this thing. And when you think about it, crocodilians, they're osteoderms, they're bony plates, they're scales on the top. They're in these rows. Now, we'd seen the footnote, right? Possibly an alligator or crocodile. And we're like, there's no way. There's no way. That doesn't match this description. Are you serious? Because I'm used to thinking of places like Gatorland, for those who've ever been there in Kissimmee, Florida. And they'll go down and they'll grab the gator out by the tail, pull it up onto there, and they'll do little tricks with it. And then afterward, after the show, you send your kid in there with them and get their picture taken with it. And you pay them to do that. That's amazing. And I'm like, what that is not a Leviathan. But I wasn't thinking worldview. How big were they in the past? In the fossil record, these things were 40 to 45.
Okay. Well, we made it 30 seconds, but that was basically a whole lot of nothing. So, Bree, could you maybe illuminate to us like a basic description of Leviathan from the Bible?
Yeah, so Leviathan is vaguely described as a large spouting creature in the seas of around in and around the Levant. So let me see if I can pull up the verse here.
Out of his mouth comes sparkling lights, bright lights, sparks of fire shoot out.
And
I guess
I'm not an electrician, but I'm not an electrician, but I don't think electricity and water go together very well. Well, typically.
I mean, there are quite a few creatures in the ocean that produce electricity, but none of them are reptiles.
Let me go through this verse by verse with you. It's not too terribly long. So it goes, and you can crack open any issues that don't sound like a crocodilian to you. Can you pull the Leviathan with a fish hook and tie it down its tongue with a rope? Can you put a cord around its nose and pierce its jaw with a hook? Will it keep begging you for mercy? Will it speak with you gentle words? Will it make an agreement with you for you to take it as a slave for life? Can you make it a pet like it's a bird? Or put it on a leash for a young woman in your house? Will traders barter for it? Will they divide it among the merchants? Can you fill its hide with harpoons, its head with fish hooks? If you lay a hand on it, will you remember the struggle and never do it again? Any hope of subduing it is false. It is mere sight of overpowering. No one is fierce enough to rouse it. Who then is able to stand against me? Who has claimed against me that I must pay? Everything under heaven belongs to me. I will not fail to speak of Leviathan's limbs, its strength, and its graceful form. Nothing's more graceful than a crocodilian, right? Who can strip it from its outer coat? Who can penetrate its double-coated armor? Who dares open the doors of its mouth, ringed with fearsome teeth? Its back has rows of shields tightly sealed together. Each is so close to the next. This is what he was just talking about with the shields. Each tightly sealed together, each so close to the next that no air can pass between. They are joined fast in one another. They cling together and cannot be parted. Its snorts throw out flashes of light. Its eyes are like rays of dawn. Flames stream from its mouth. Sparks of fire shoot out. Smoke pours from its nostrils as from a boiling pot over burning reeds. Its breath sets coal ablaze, and flames dart from its mouth. Its strength resides in its neck. Dismay goes before it. The folds of its flesh are so tightly joined that they are firm and unmovable. Its chest is as hard as a rock, hard as a lower millstone. When it rises up, the mighty are terrified. They retreat before its thrashing. The sword that can reach it has no effect, nor does the spear or dart or javelin. Iron is treated like straw, and bronze like rotten wood. Arrows do not make it flee. Slings, stones are like chaff to it. A club seems a mere piece of straw. It just goes a whole bunch of descriptions about how tough this dude is. Its underside is jagged as a pot's herd. Its laugh is rattling as a lance. So its laugh, that's an interesting one too. So it's really it sounds like it's a chimeric kind of creature, you know.
Parts of it sound like a crocodilian. Other parts just
like a
sound
whale.
like just a generic dragon.
Parts
Especially
of it
the
sound
fire breath.
The fire breath makes me think of seeing whales spouting out at sea and not understanding what they were seeing.
Maybe, but at the same time, like the way it's like, even if like sure these people did not have the knowledge we have access to now, but like I think they'd be at least one person may have gotten close enough to a whale spouting up water, put its hand through there and be like, that's just water. That's not fire.
I mean, we've been whaling for a long time, but I don't know if there was a lot of sea voyages where, well, I mean, I imagine people probably did get close to whales at some point. But
At
even
least
getting close to them, it's kind of hard to understand what you're looking at when you look at a whale and compare it to other animals that you've seen. I mean, they thought whales were fish until,
I mean, technically they are because tetrapods are fish.
Well, yes. Oh, baby. I love that. Thank you so much for saying that, sweetie.
And clearly people are fish.
I'm a fish. You're a fish. That's a fish
but
right
in
above
common
me.
parlance. Let's
Look at these two fish over here. Donnie the fish and Ryan the fish.
The Deinosuchus they're talking about is a fish.
Well, I don't think Donnie would appreciate hearing that very much.
You can give Donnie an aneurysm. We're also apes. We're also monkeys. I'm a
For a
monkey.
lot of things.
I think he's come to accept that humans are, at least physically, primates. I think.
I know this is just my opinion, but it's also based on what I believe as, being a member of the church, is that God used basically he used the ape body plan. He made human bodies through evolution from apes. That's just my opinion, though. Do not take
an
that as
ape.
fact.
That's what a lot of Bible-believing Christians believe, and I'm sure.
I'm
I
sitting like an ape. Look at me.
Indeed. Also, really quick before we continue, and I will say thank you, Bree, for reading the Bible to us.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree that thing sounds like a chimera. It sounds like a weird fusion of a crocodile and a hippo to me.
I can see that.
But
The way
I've listened to I've seen a lot of nature documentaries about stuff in Africa, and some of the stuff in there felt like what hippos are like. Like they're nigh unkillable. They will chomp everything. They will destroy you and your family.
It's pretty graphic, but if you've never seen the video of a pride of lions trying to take down a hippo, it's the lions do not have a good time.
Yeah.
They
Hippos are like
care.
Hippos are like one of the
tanks.
main causes of deaths in Africa.
I'm pretty sure they are the mammal with the highest kill count in Africa. Not counting
Black
the
Death
humans.
is pretty. Black Death has a pretty high number too. The African water buffalo.
True, but I think hippos are worse. I think.
When I hear description of the Leviathan, I imagine something like a combination of a crocodile, a snake, maybe some mosasaur in there.
Like a serpent, yeah, like a very snaky kind of or an eel, because you gotta think these were fishermen that were writing this story, writing these stories. They were fishermen, so that it was a chimera of all the weird things they pull out of the ocean. Like, what if this eel was 40 foot long and breathes fire?
You don't talk about eels; they're weird. Like for parts of their life, they have no sex organs.
Sometimes they're parts of their life they're like completely clear. They're like swimming pieces of clear plastic.
Yes, glass eels.
And so are octopi.
Octopi start off their life in the plankton, don't they? Like living, or I know that's what they're feeding on at least.
They're
I think there's a lot of marine species that kind of start out their lives sort of in that like planktonic stage. I know lobsters start out that way.
Do you ever kind of wish we had a planktonic stage as a species?
I mean,
I'd be a little
to
concerned.
one specific place.
I'd be a little concerned, especially if one of them has a single eye, is green, and is constantly after a stupid crab's secret hamburger formula.
Secret recipe plankton.
I feel like I'm the only person in my generation who did not grow up on SpongeBob.
I briefly saw it, but my parents did not stop me from watching it any further, and I thank them for that. They would tell me it would rot my brain, and I believed them.
Yeah. What'd you say, Bree?
I said I'm not from your generation. I had kids in your generation.
I know I said I feel like I'm one of the only people in my generation who didn't watch SpongeBob. But also, I did want to show this coming from Beta Ray in the chat. Thank you. Some photoshopped fan art.
Beautiful. That looks like a new avatar.
No, I don't think so, but I appreciate it.
clearly this is what the aliens who were putting the Spinosauruses in captivity were doing with in their free time.
Oh, it's a Dinorian.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh
Well,
no,
yeah, you
not
wouldn't.
them. Anything but them.
You wouldn't want to use a featherless Maniraptoran for your avatar. That'd be blasphemous.
I
Exactly.
am
I
not
love
ready
that.
to get eaten by a gun nash.
Well, hey, we'll worry about that in like 10 streams for. We're referencing things from the dinosaur game I'm playing on stream. That'll be like 10 streams from now or more.
That or it's a Miss Monaghan from Dino Squad.
Oh, dear. I missed that show. I wish it had more seasons.
50 feet long. These things were crazy. And so the rose shields, that seemed to match. The tear around its teeth can eat iron like straw, bronze like rotten wood. In the bite force test for these guys, Sarcosuchus has that long, narrow skull. Oh, let me show you the picture.
Yeah, Sarcosuchus.
This is Dinosuchus. I took this picture at the Black Hills Institute in South Dakota, right there near Mount Rushmore. That is Dinosuchus beside modern day alligator.
Wow, that is insane.
There's Sarcosuchus right beside it, and some are more familiar with that one. Notice how skinny and thin his jaw is. So he's not going to have as much of a bite force. Still going to be pretty strong as
He's a
Dinosuchus.
pescatarian.
Okay.
Yeah, probably. Piscivore or smaller vertebrate specialist.
Yeah, I mean, it would be still be a. It would eat pretty much anything alive right now if it really wanted to, but back during its day.
Sarcosuchus is one of those things. Neither of these are things you'd want to see on a golf course.
Well, I mean, one of them would eat you, the other would eat your boat. So I'm not sure which is worse.
I would say both.
I'm
Both is
pretty
worse.
confident a Sarcosuchus could fit me down its gullet. It seems like it would be able to. But yeah, Dinosuchus would destroy the whole boat and eat everybody on board.
Yeah. And then go for another one.
Mm-hmm. The alligator, though.
Rip my arm off.
You could hold jaws shut with your hands. But they still kill people.
Yeah.
Not nearly as much as
and
other
then
crocodilomorphs of their size, though.
No, that's the funny thing. Like, animal behavior is relative, and alligators are just big puppies compared to everything else they're related to. Except caimans. I've heard a lot of caimans are pretty common.
Well, yeah, you could say alligatoroids and rope caiman in with that group, right?
That's true.
If
Perusaurus could be tamed.
There's a guy in his name on YouTube. He goes by Fishing Garrett. He's constantly calling alligators swamp puppies.
Yeah, I used to really like Fishing Garrett. Like, he was kind of funny and stuff. I forget where, but I remember seeing somewhere that he might be a creationist or like a science denier on something. It was in a Mini Minuteman video. He saw it.
All I know is that he's out there looking for a 20-foot Burmese python.
It'd be good if he got more of those out.
Speaking of caimans, the spectacled caiman has been invading Florida.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard that there are spectacled caimans now in South Florida.
There's claims of Nile crocodiles too, but I don't think those are founded. There are definitely tegu though. Tegu are taken over.
I have heard that there have been reports of Nile crocodiles being found in South Florida, and that's not very good, especially because they'll probably compete with or basically like hybridize the American crocodile into extinction. That's one of the things that's happening with the Scottish wildcat, is that like the Scottish wildcat's kind of disappearing because it's been breeding with basically feral house cats.
mean, if there's one thing humans are good at, it's at messing up ecosystems everywhere they go.
Another
Yeah.
thing with crocodilians is that crocodilian hybridization is pretty common, actually.
Is it?
I've heard are hybrids between both the American and the Cuban crocodile, which is one of the more terrestrial modern crocodilians.
I mean, I thought they were very closely related anyway. So that's
Yeah.
like the
Well, as I've
American
heard,
crocodile is
there's
just a northern extension of like the
I've
Caribbean.
heard that like the Nile crocodile is very closely related to the American crocodile.
Hmm.
So they are theoretically, in fact, I think Crocodilus thorobin something is like considered a transitional species between the Nile crocodile and all the members of the Crocodilus genus found in the Americas.
Isn't that thing from South Africa? Like South or East Africa? Yeah, it's Robyarsoni. From Tanzania and
All
Kenya.
right, friends, I gotta bounce. Got something I gotta take care of. I will catch y'all on the next one though. Have a good one.
That's fair. Take care, Bree. Thank you for stopping by. Do you have anything
Bye.
out on your channel you have planned?
Got 14 news on Thursday night. Last week we debunked this whole thing about the super ticks, and I also debunked the BS that Kyle Rittenhouse was bitten by a brown recluse spider. So got more of that coming this week, and then Saturday I do my live from the hive, and I don't know what we're covering yet because we just had it a couple hours ago, and that's a whole week away.
Darn
Every Saturday
spiders.
morning you can find me. Yeah, no, Kyle Rittenhouse was not bitten by a brown recluse spider. I bet my hat on it.
Ye 2 days ago, when I was working at volunteering at Desert Industries, there was a spider in a jacket that someone had donated, and one of the employees there claimed that the spider was a huntsman, and I was really hoping he was joking because we don't need any Australian spiders in the U.S.
We have our own species of huntsman spiders in the U.S.
Really?
Yeah, hold on. Can't remember the name of it.
Gonna guess the American huntsman?
So yeah, a Tetrapoda ventoria. I used to have a whole bunch of them. If you go to Florida or even anywhere in the South, they're all over the walls and stuff.
Ugh.
They get pretty big. The ones I had would get about that big. It's hard to tell. Let's just show you what about as big around as that mirror.
Ooh.
I know you like bugs, Bree. You can have all of the huntsman spiders.
I
All of
will. I'm
them.
gonna go get them now. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, take care.
Bye.
All right. Well, might as well keep going then.
Nice comparison. There was me holding my little daughter, and then there's me holding my.
Oh, and I will say, if anyone in the chat does want to join the stream, there is a link to join pinned at the top. All I ask is that you give me a wave on camera when you enter the lobby, but then you don't have to have your camera on for the rest of the stream.
My son there in his mouth. You can see this thing. Yeah, if you poked it, you would not forget it. Okay, no thing. So when they did the Biforce study on this thing, it came in somewhere around 18,000 to 24,000. The strongest Biforce ever believed up until that point is a Megalodon at 24,000 maximum. Any more than that, it's going to crush his own jaw.
I don't recall what the maximum estimate for Megalodon's bite force is.
I thought Megalodon probably had an even higher bite force, considering it's hunting whales and stuff. Sure, they were not as big as the whales we have now, but I mean, we're dealing with whales that are still between 6 to 10 meters long. maybe 12 meters maximum for some.
I'm just looking now. Um, I mean, so this is Wikipedia again, but it seems to have a bite estimate of between 1 and 200,000 newtons.
Oh my goodness.
So that's 4 to 8 times as much, possibly.
Yeah. And that's way stronger than a T-Rex's bite force.
Did you by a few orders of well, not orders of magnitude, by a few times.
I mean,
If
T-Rex
anything
already had
says
an
something about
absurdly
T-Rex.
powerful bite force for any land animal. Then again, it was also hunting literal tanks, so...
Yeah, and oh, interesting. I just noticed something about the T-Rex on his poster back here. I'm gonna make the video full screen just to show people. You see those shiny bits on the teeth here? This guy pulled this T-Rex's teeth all the way out to the roots just to make them look bigger. Like those
Oh.
teeth are pulled out. So far, they're almost falling out of the jaw. They're probably just barely glued in there. But it's something I've seen a few places do to make T-Rex's teeth look longer when they really don't need to.
I mean, T-Rex already has pretty long teeth. And it's I know there will be some tooth slippage after the animals died, but, like, that is, like, ridiculously.
Yeah. No, those are intentionally pulled out as far as they can go.
And it's like,
So that
Are you doing okay, Caden?
yeah, I had a cold last week, so I'm still recovering from that.
Those are never fun.
Yeah, it
like
was a
Matt,
bit
this
weird,
thing
though.
is-
I got it in April, so...
Oh, so it's lasted a while. Hope it's
Well,
not
no, I
COVID.
got it at the end of April, which is a bit odd, because, like, you wouldn't expect to get a cold that late in the year.
I mean, people get them all throughout the year. That's how they last until next winter. Winter's
True.
just when it spreads the most.
borderline strongest bite force of any creature ever on planet Earth. Eating iron like straw, bronze like rotten wood, no problem.
Citation needed.
I mean, one, not the bite force would definitely be up there, but it's not really near the uppermost limits.
Yeah, I think even T-Rex had a higher bite force.
T-Rex definitely did. T-Rex had a bite force double what's estimated for the largest species of Deinosuchus.
Like, crocodilians already
And
have
then
pretty
here-
high bite forces, though.
True, but apparently Deinosuchus's bite force is estimated to be comparable to a modern saltwater crocodile.
Mm.
Like, it's not that much stronger, it's just bigger.
Here was the thing that got everybody's attention. And I'm sure you've had somebody on before that talked about the description of the fire breathing and how it very much matches the bombardier beetle. You had somebody on talk about bombardier beetle before?
Oh, goodness.
Don't you worry. You're gonna see where he goes with this. Here.
It's almost as illogical a notion as one breathing atomic fire.
Almost. What is Leviathan? I'm just gonna pull up the Bible passages. Man, okay, okay. Snorting throws out flashes of light, eyes like the rays of dawn. Flames stream from its mouth, sparks of fire shoot out. Smoke pours from its nostrils. Breath sets coal ablaze. Okay, so this thing apparently breathes fire and steam. Not keep in mind, it does explicitly call out fire here. So that's not quite what a bombardier beetle does.
Yeah, bombardier beetles. They shoot boiling chemicals, not fire.
Yeah, and this thing is explicitly saying fire from its mouth. Keep that in mind. Fire from its mouth.
Not to mention, another thing is that for a creature to even have enough heat to generate that kind of reaction, the creature would have to be endothermic to some extent. And I know Archosaurs in general were probably ancestrally endothermic, but like most younger creationists are pretty adamant that no, reptiles are never and were never endothermic.
Well, I mean, I so the thing is, even if a creature was endothermic, in order to make flames come out of its mouth just from body heat, it would be dead. That is a step beyond cooking itself alive. What hypothetically a creature could create actual fire from its mouth. It is hypothetically possible. However, it is something that I don't believe has ever been seen in nature for a variety of reasons. It's not
And even
usually
if
a good
it
idea
did
for me to
appear in nature, like, what purpose would it like serve? Like,
well, that's not as important to this discussion because this is supposed to be God showing off his creation. But like
I
we
mean,
have no
the
evidence of
thing
this happening.
I see it. I mean, again, my opinion is that like we are. It. I mean, I'm of one of those people who believes that like humans, while yes, we are basically insignificant to God, we are everything. We are his children, and he wants us to return to him. But at the same time, he also knows that, like, he gave us agency for a reason, basically the ability to choose. But he also knows that because of that, because we live in this world that's fallen and stuff, that we're going to do uh, stupid things. And sometimes he has to remind us that. Like a father has to remind his child, hey, don't do that.
I mean, I guess that's a fine interpretation for the story. It's just I have a problem with them trying to tie, like, say, the bombardier beetle thing to something like Deinosuchus. Something
Yeah.
like that is something that no vertebrates can do. There is no evidence that Deinosuchus could pull off something like that.
I mean, we
Like,
don't even have
well,
soft tissue.
I'm not done, Caden.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
And what he is going to try to tie this ability to in Deinosuchus, I just think is several steps too far, to put it plainly.
Okay. Sorry, and I'm sorry that I brought up my opinion and stuff.
Caden, it's fine to share your opinion. You just interrupted me while I was talking.
Okay. Are we still friends?
Yes, Caden, we're still friends. Just
Okay.
you
Thank
get it
you.
Let's see. Beta Ray does bring up maybe it's like spitting snakes like cobra. Sorry, maybe it's spitting like cobras, and it burns. But the Bible simply stole pagan mythology and applied it to their mythologies. I don't. From what I know of Bible history, there is something to that, but I am not a Bible scholar. I just think that creationists trying to tie the Bible and its stories into natural history is one, a fool's errand, and two, it's really annoying and dishonest a lot of the time. And that's why I have a problem with it.
Uh,
Like, if you just take this as mythology, I don't have a problem with it. It's when you try to tie it into the natural world and lie about the natural world, that's what I have an issue with. Because the
The
natural world's pretty freaking cool.
And if anybody's in biblical creation, I'm sure they've seen it. It's a gas flash vapor. Okay, gas flash vapor. What's the description in Job? It's not the, like we think of dragons. It is flashes, sparks, smoke, like from a boiling pot coming from the front of his mouth, from his nostrils, like right there at his mouth. It's a gas.
Okay. So one, you ignored the flames right here. Flames streaming, mind you. And two, yes, it is sparks, but it is sparks of fire. And if you take it one more line, its breath sets coals ablaze and flames dart from its mouth. So this thing is expelling something that is hot enough to set other objects on fire. Oh, wait a sec. Can I highlight this with like a highlighter on this? Oh no, I'm not logging into Bible Gateway. That's neat though. Gonna highlight the passages for easier reading.
it just the dishonesty is big enough you could cut it with a knife.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to hear a creationist cherry pick the Bible, but I think that's what he's trying to do.
I think a lot of them do that though.
Yeah, I said it's weird. It's not.
Flash vapor type thing from a chambered.
It feels like something they should not do, but they do. So it feels weird.
It's
And from the bombardier beetle.
Go ahead.
It's, I guess, I mean, Young Earth Creationism in a way is just kind of fringe Christianity in general. It's like their whole shtick is that they believe that, like, in order to be a Christian, you have to believe in basically impossible young Earth. They preach. They don't. The way they preach and stuff, it's like they preach as if believing in a young Earth is more important than believing in Christ.
I think it depends on the specific preacher and ministry, but a lot of them do seem to hold it in very high regard. And then once they have people cemented on that topic, like once their congregation fully believes in the young earth and ignoring like the evidence for the older earth, then a lot of them start to lead in with other issues like social issues, medicine. Like we've seen this time and time again with vaccine denial, climate change denial, still being butthurt about there being more than two genders. Like it's something. That
Can
comes
we
up.
change the subject?
Sure, but they lead in with one thing and then they divert to other topics.
Yes.
And all of the big creationist organizations do this.
The studies done by Cornell University. The understanding is
You're echoing.
Oh, sorry.
Caden. It's okay.
those chambers, the mixing of a catalyst and enzymes, is what creates that happening. Well, there in the Journal of Vertebrate Paleontology in July of 2020, they described this Deinosuchus. They said there's a unique feature about it.
Wow.
Not seen in any other crocodilian ever before. He has 4 nostrils. The regular 2 on top, and then these extra 2 chambered ones on the front. Have you seen this?
Okay, so this is a fairly recent feature of Deinosuchus that was recently discovered that it It had some extra holes on its head. I'm gonna here. I'm gonna go back and see if I can get the actual publication here.
The in the actual video by SFT, he has the the link, the paper like tilted and like kind of blurry, so you can't kind of you can barely tell what the description on top is.
I mean that's partly due to StreamYard compressing things.
Oh,
I did find the article. Let me try to find nostril. Oh, okay. Nares. Okay. Interesting. This article does not mention anything about the nose.
it's just with 4 nostrils. Just
Well, no, I believe that is accurate.
that part.
That specific part might be accurate.
I know that a lot of vertebrates in general have sort of like it might just be reptiles, but like so you have the external nostril holes, but then like inside the jaw you have like these sort of like internal ones.
Yes, I believe you're right. Where did they really not talk about it anywhere? Do external nares. Sorry, I'm just going to be looking for a half a second, trying to find more info. Come on. Sorry, folks, this might take just a second. Just trying to find more. Okay, so that artwork is by Tyler Stone. Okay. Okay, so this paper is apparently specifically describing Deinosuchus schwimmeri. Two large holes that are present at the tip of the snout, in front of the nose. These holes are unique to Deinosuchus, and we don't know what they're for. And that is coming from one of the authors of the paper. Okay. Just trying to... Okay, here it is. So they're calling... So Deinosuchus has 2 holes at the top of the skull, which are apparently the nares, so the actual nostril holes. But there are also what they are calling premaxillary fenestrae, which are the holes at the very front of the skull. And I'm just going to do a quick search for premaxilla.
The tip of the snout.
Yes, on the tip of the snout. apparently also described in the type specimen of Deinosuchus riograndensis. Here, wait, how did they... Sorry, just... Oh, premaxillary. Okay. Premaxillary region. So here is one of the fenestra they talk about. It just appears to be a hole in the skull, and they don't know what it's for. It just seems to be a hole in the skull, which there is something that happens in archosaurs. For some reason, their skulls seem to be very common. They just develop weird holes in different places. But yeah, it's just a feature. I'm not seeing something like they're supposed to be attached to the respiratory system or anything like that.
So there are these holes in the premaxillary, but they don't know what they're actually used for, and there's no evidence to support that they are connected to the respiratory systems. So I'm guessing the creationists in the video made that part up.
Yeah, it seems to be something that, well, he is proposing that it is connected to the nares, and that it would be like, I guess different fluids would spray out of each hole to produce something like a bombardier beetle, which is absolutely absurd. They're not even pointing in the same directions.
Yeah, and it's like, unless like they're like what marine iguanas do, where they like sneeze salt out of their nostrils.
Well, even then, the gases wouldn't mix very well. and like yeah, here they even say maybe they could be to help lighten the skull, but it wouldn't make sense to do that at the front of the snout. So we don't know.
I mean, unless they're like, well, actually, no, I don't think they'd be injuries.
They do call out. So I'm just going to read from the paper verbatim, and I will make sure to highlight the title of the paper and everything so people can go take a look at it. This is from the paper. An additional hypothesis is that the fenestrae, the holes, were for supporting soft tissues. However, there is no evidence in the form of accessory growths of bone or neurovascular foramina. Sorry, Caden, I'm echoing. Do you have earbuds you can put in?
No.
Okay. Sorry. So hypothesis is that the fenestrae could have supported soft tissues, but there is no evidence in the form of accessory growth of bone or basically more nerves in the area around the fenestrae on the outside of the snout. They do mention there is, looks like kind of a shelf of bone in one specific skull that extends into the fenestra. Sorry, just reading this. Forming a wall of bone separating the paranasal air sinus from the nasal passage, and indicates that the fenestrae would have been indirectly associated with the respiratory system. Soft tissues in this area could have been used as a means of thermoregulation, generation of vocalizations, or otherwise. In addition to an association with the respiratory system, the pneumatization of the anterior snout would have made it a comparatively lighter structure. Okay, so in one species, if I'm reading this right, in one species of Deinosuchus, in the bulb on the nose, there are 2 extra holes up front that are indirectly connected to the respiratory system, like through a winding passage of bone. So they might have had some connection there. Based on what they're saying, that might have been something to help with vocalizations. Modern gharials do this with their noses. They have a really complex passage of air systems. Sorry, a really complex passage in the tip of their snout that males will use to create loud buzzing noises. So maybe Deinosuchus could have been doing something like that, but the passages are indirectly associated with the respiratory system. So it couldn't like blow air through there. It's more like air in there would have like probably vibrated in response to air going through the respiratory system. So it wouldn't have been able to It wouldn't have been able to sneeze through the fenestrae. There's no evidence that they would have been empty holes. In fact, it's probably more likely they were covered by skin. There's no evidence it could have shot anything out from its nostrils. If anything, it seems more likely that it was probably just something to help make vocalizations. Probably. It's hard to say without more skull material. Apparently, the tips of the snouts of Deinosuchus are surprisingly rare. Sorry, that was kind of a tangent, but we had to look at the paper, and I said I would show it for everyone to see. This is a systematic review of the giant alligatoroid Deinosuchus from the Campanian of North America and its implications for the relationships at the root of crocodilia by Cassette and Brochu, published in the Journal of Vertebrate Paleontology. And it is available for free in its entirety from Taylor and Francis online. Creationists, learn how to do transparency.
Also, read the paper before you go spouting nonsense.
Well, read the paper carefully and represent it properly. Because, again, to be clear, these authors are not saying this thing could shoot air or other substances out from the nose holes. Out from the holes in the tip of the snout.
Out of the premaxillary fenestrae.
Yeah, no. They're just saying, hey, Deinosuchus has these weird holes up here. We're not sure what they're for. Could probably make noises, though.
Yeah, Archosaurs in general have, like, weird holes in the skull.
Yeah,
It's
they
like-
have a lot of weird ones.
Like, dinosaurs have the antorbital fenestrae. Pterosaurs, I think, fuse the antorbital fenestrae with the nostrils.
So do ceratopsians.
Oh, yeah, and ceratopsians.
And ankylosaurs lose them altogether. Because, of course, they do.
And then hadrosaurs, I don't even know with some
We don't
of them.
talk about the nightmare that is a hadrosaur skull.
At least most Saurolopians aren't as nightmarish.
Depends on the Saurolophine. Depends on the Saurolophine. Hadrosaurs in general are just monstrous animals in the tiniest of places. Sorry, they're monstrous in unexpected ways. They look normal, but that's because you don't know what they are. They're horrific. Creatures.
Birds kind of also, I think, do the fusion of the nasal and antorbital fenestrae.
Well, birds in general.
Actually, I don't even think they have the antorbital fenestrae anymore.
A lot of birds still have a dimple up there, but it's not a full fenestra. Also, Beta Ray says they once saw a literal factual fireball fall from the sky, but there's zero reason to think a dragon did it. It was a rare form of ball lightning, or St. Elmo's fire. Completely natural, but superstitious people 3,000 years ago may have hallucinated an animal with it. Possible, and it sounds like a cool phenomenon to see. I've always wanted to see ball lightning. I know it's extremely rare, but it sounds really cool.
I think St. Elmo's fire is a separate phenomena. It's basically like you have like electric discharges that kind of appear off of objects like fingers or like the top masts of ships, but that's separate from ball lightning.
I mean, I could still see why people might build superstitions around it. It's really cool phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
Described this Dinosuchus, they said there's a unique feature about it,
Wow.
not seen in any other crocodilian ever before. He has 4 nostrils.
No, it has 2 nostrils and 2 small holes at the front of its premaxilla. Those are different things.
The regular 2 on top, and then these extra 2 chambered ones on the front. Have you seen this?
No, that is I've heard about the idea of this, and it kind of being a matter of debate what it's for, but not in this kind of detail.
So here's what they said. Based on its enormous skull, it looked like neither an alligator nor a crocodile. Its snout was long and broad, but inflated at the front around the nose in a way not seen in any other crocodilian living or extinct. The reason for its enlarged nose is unknown. It had these 2 large holes present at the tip.
Sorry, I'm just seeing. So wait, that's from the paper? Is it? Because that last bit sounds like something you'd see in an interview, not a paper. Yeah, no, that's not in the paper. The word, just searching the words, it had 2. That is from, well, sorry, that's just nitpicking citations, but if you're going to cite something, at least cite it properly. The crocodile skull was long and broad, but inflated around the front.
Are we just gonna ignore the fact that the creationists are ignoring that even in the artwork that they're using, the one with the skin doesn't show the extra holes in the snout?
I mean, yeah, he is ignoring that, but it's far from the smallest thing he's ignoring. Also, this citation is completely bogus. None of this text is from this article. It's from this paper. This information is pulled from some other article. Well, wait. Wait, what is this citation?
It looks. What are they citing Miss Frizzle now?
It says it's published on. It has Taylor and Francis as the author. Then there's the title, then a website, then publication date. What is... Okay, I found... What the hell? Okay, this is real. This is weird. Okay, never mind. It looks like his citation is okay. He just cited it really weirdly. Like he has Taylor and Francis as the authors of this article. But the article says Taylor and Francis. Sorry, I'm just going to show this. So here's the article he's citing, right? And these quotes are in this article. But it says it's by Taylor and Francis, like it's the author. But no, it leads to Taylor and Francis, like well, wow, might be, yeah, okay, share the tab. It leads to taylorandfrancis.com, the publication website. It's just really weird citation.
What's even weird that at the top it isn't even okay. There's the art again, but like the headline says, "New study confirms the power of Deinosuchus and its teeth the size of bananas." Like the title has nothing to do with the premaxillary fenestrae.
That information is mentioned later on in the article. I just checked for it. Yeah, that information is later in the article. It's just, I don't know, maybe just a lazy citation on his part, though I don't see an author. I don't know. It felt weird to me because I thought he was still reading from the article, like the original article. I don't know. Maybe I'm probably nitpicking too hard.
I mean,
Just
I know a
weird.
lot of times when you get articles released and you'll get headline newses where like the article gets like summarized and a lot of the context gets lost.
Yeah. Think that's kind of what happened here.
That or Miss Frizzle screwed it up.
Well, Miss Frizzle never gets anything wrong.
Of the snout in front of the nose. I took a picture when I was there. There's the two on the top. There's the two on the end. When I got to see this in person, and now let's be honest in our scientific observation. Have we seen what Deinosuchus actually used that nose for? No, we have not. I just find it fascinating personally how this thing checks off every single detail,
Right.
and might possibly have the mechanism needed to mark off that last one of a gas flash vapor. Because if it's a purely marine creature, why would it ever need fire breathing? You know, that's why the idea of it being
Okay. So because this giant crocodiliform has extra holes in its skull, therefore it could shoot fire out of its face. It
Makes
is actually what he's saying right now.
I have heard stupid logic before, and that is just ridiculous logic.
Really, a little weird. It's a little very weird.
It's like they've jumped the shark with this.
Like, looking at the description of Leviathan, if you want to say it's a crocodile, sure, that probably matches okay. But you have to admit it's a crocodilian with some artistic liberties taken. And no, just because this one has some extra holes in its skull does not mean that it could do what you're saying. It does not mean it could do what Leviathan is supposed to have been able to do. It's just not. That is jumping the crocodile in this case.
a type of mosasaur or something like that. That was never a good idea. This seems to check off every and Dr. Sarfati and Joel Tay have this in that book Titans. So I don't remember how much detail they go into it, but I was just floored by this when it came out, and think it's a very plausible. Finally, we have a creature that is very plausible to check off every single one of those details regarding Leviathan.
It literally checks off all of the boxes. And right there's another clip-worthy moment. What is Leviathan? I think that's the most convincing. And I love your slides. You do a great job with your slideshow, Ryan. And the picture of you and was it your son with the
Yeah.
That is an intimidating.
Yeah,
Right.
it is.
So that's the video.
Oh, hey, look, there's the YouTuber People Are Fish with our video Why Are Birds Dinosaurs?
Yeah. Also, an interview with Steve Brusati and the Skeleton Crew, both of which I highly recommend. And also, unfortunately, uh, I don't think we're gonna keep going through a second video. Sadly,
I'm sorry.
don't apologize. Like I said, it's been a while since we. It's been a long time since I've been doing these regularly, but tangents were the name of the game. Tangents were encouraged. I just did not expect them to take quite as long. Next time, probably be a little more disciplined with them. But it's fine. I mean, I had fun. I think the people in chat had fun. I hope you and Bree had fun.
Dinosaurus is probably rolling in its grave right now.
Death rolling in its grave. Well, let's see. Caden. Well, I guess you don't have a channel, I don't believe.
I do have a channel.
Oh, you do? Are
It's-
you going to be making anything for it sometime soon?
Well, I'm still working on Gene Diver, and I still really could use some help with that.
That is fair. Do you just want me to like check your script, help write it, voice act? Like, what do you need me to do for that?
Voice act, maybe do some research, because again, I want this to be as scientifically informed as possible.
Okay. And if I may ask, like, why are you so attached to Gene Diver as an anime?
So I needed something to do, and I it's like it's probably one of the few educational animes out there that is about something that I'm interested in. And also it's just like, hey, it was something I could do. It was something that it never had an official release in the US in any form. Sure, there's some stuff that I'm gonna have to change about it, but like, it's like it was decently accurate for its time, especially regarding uh, the subject it was discussing, that being paleontology and evolution.
Okay.
I'm still also working for Godzilla and stuff, but like at the current time, I haven't had much time to work on those. I definitely do need to probably do some more things with my channel.
Sure.
Again, you don't have to help me with this project. It's just something I'm invested in right now. And it's like, I thought it would be fun.
Could be. I wouldn't mind taking a look at your, like, a draft of your script sometime or something.
Yeah.
Not mind.
Yeah.
And I will say, as for, well, I'll go ahead and take this off the screen. As for here, folks, gonna be trying to stick to a stream schedule. The exact hours might vary here between week to week, but I'm going to try to do Creation Science Theater every Saturday and a different stream every Tuesday. This next Tuesday is going to be another gaming stream. I am slowly working through a childhood favorite game of mine called Fossil Fighters. The last stream ended a little early, so next time we are going to be finishing the third chapter of the game, where we have to chase a group of vagabonds through a mine, through a mine, gathering fossils along the way.
As a child, I yearned for the mines.
Yes, and the dinos yearn for the mines too. So if you want to come along for that adventure, please feel free to do so. We're going to be seeing a lot of interesting new dino designs. I'm doing a little dossier for dinosaurs as they come up. I'll probably release a compilation or two sometime.
Fossil Fighters should have had Dinosuchus.
I don't know if it had any crocodiliforms, actually. That's... I don't think...
Yep.
Yeah, okay. It did not have any... Did not have any crocodiliforms, as far as I know. Which is unfortunate. Heck, there could have been a lot of fun things. But then again, it was on the Nintendo DS. They only had so much space on those
Yeah.
things.
Nintendo DS for 2008.
For 2008, they had pretty good variety.
Yeah.
All right. I will say thank you again to Bree and to you, Caden, for joining. If you comment below, I'll put your channel in the description so people can check you.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. Then I suppose we shall say good night, everybody. Well, good afternoon, wherever you are. Have a good one.
Hold on, sir.
Oh.
Do you want me to put it